because I used to observe how I would operate. I would look at our school captains and I'm like, I feel if I were to have a discussion with you, I'd tell you handle this in this way, handle this in this way, handle that in this particular. I feel take this direction. Don't do that. You've overreacted. Calm down. Handle this matter like this. Don't blow out in public. Address those who have been concerned in that particular matter. But I was like, who am I to speak? Who knew I would once get a chance to implement what I'd always felt like is done wrong by the leaders who have been ahead of me? So I slipped in everybody knew Ethel was going for head of boarding. We came up a box. I slipped in the application letter for school captain in charge of boarding. And that's what I told everyone. That's what I'm going for because my dorm was doing good. So me believed I belonged there. And then I felt go for something higher. I was like, no. Somebody else could do it better. Go for something higher. No. Take a smaller space. Go for something. It was a voice in my heart. Go. Like, no. Go. No. Go. Then I'm like, no. Then I can remember what made me believe that position was made for me. I was not thrown into that school. I was handpicked to be in that school to serve for particular reasons. Kienda vetting for head of boarding. I was talking, they were asking me questions. Why would you want to become a head girl in charge of boarding? And I was like, these are my principles. 1, 2, 3. I operate on 1, 2, 3. I will do this and this for you. Benefit to the students is this. Benefit for me is this. And they looked at me. Teachers would ask me questions. The school disciplinary would ask me questions. And I can remember one thing that really stood out on that day was they asked me about 5 times. And what if we gave you the position of being school captain? I was like, no. I've seen those people suffer. I've seen those people cry. Go. Hey. Especially when they make the students angry with what they choose to do. Especially because they've not thought twice about the action they're going to take. I was like, no. My name is Ethel Tanisha Harap. Emphasis on Harap. Yes, I am a firstborn daughter in a house of 3. I can describe myself in so many things, but also in the best of ways, of course. But first of all, I'm really honored by the fact that I'm female. I am female. I am a female. I am a girl. Girl power. Yeah. My primary school life was very interesting because I studied in 2 schools. The first one is Lions International, a school I'm very proud of to date. I'm still very proud of that school. I left Lions when I was heading to grade 3 and I transferred to Testimony School. Another prestigious school. Wow. That was a very prestigious school. So I studied in Testimony from grade 3 all the way up to grade 8. It was a very interesting journey. It was very interesting. It was extremely interesting. I had the best of friends for the longest time. I had one person. Her name was Michelle. Michelle meant a lot to me because from the very first time I entered that school, I saw her and things just went click. And I clicked with her for the longest time, and it made my life in school so easier because I'd work with her. We would study together. We would have sleepovers, and it was possible because our friendship was so strong with her. She's one of the very few people who made my primary school life very interesting. It had a lot, especially for me, because at that particular time in my life, things emotionally for me were a little bit shaky. I was fighting a lot of emotional imbalance. There's academic stress. There was just a lot going on, so much things. My heart was dampened for like a period of about from grade 3 all the way up to grade 7, if I'm not wrong. My heart was heavy, full of sorrow, full of sadness. Having her by my side really made that a lot lighter for me. But my primary school experience from the first years, from grade 3, 4, 5, 6, was just amazing because I found someone who could help me balance my emotions, keep me in check, and I really value her. To date, I really still do value her. My life in primary when I was with her, even in school, school was just exciting, always exciting. She'd be the first person I'd want to run into class and I'd be like, "Where's Michelle?" Oh, until there came a time when we became desk mates. Oh my goodness! And then the class would complain, "Oh, Ethel and Michelle," and it got to a point people really admired our friendship to the point that they wanted to snatch her away from me. I was so protective of that girl. She made my life so bearable. But my life in testimony primary, it was a pretty good experience. It was very gentle until I think and it got to a point where Michelle left and I felt like my whole world just crashed. My whole world just went. "Ugh." It went sinking under because I built a lot in her. My confidence, my trust, my self-esteem to some extent was rooted in her because I'd work with her, I'd feel safe. I had safety in her. She was a confident. She was actually more than a friend to me. She was a sister. So when she was uprooted from my life unexpectedly, it shook me a lot. It shook me to my core. I think that's the point where I think I started getting unstable again. I started fighting out of things on my own. Then considering the fact that I only had one person who I was connected to, when she left, it was like you're now left to society. Deal with the rest of the students in your class, and it really took me a lot of time. I really struggled because that was in grade six when she left. When she left, I started going under. Yeah, it's quite interesting because you could just say it was just a person, but to me she was more than just a person who was in that school. I found rooting in her, and she was helping me get my own wings and get ready to fly. Then all of a sudden she was extracted from my life, and that is when I think I got exposed to a lot of things that really hurt me a lot. It really hurt because from grade six, grade seven, grade eight, it was a very traumatizing experience because I can remember after she left, I was so damaged. I was so damaged, and I didn't want to talk to anyone else. I didn't want to talk about anyone or to anyone or make the effort of trying to find somebody else. Not really. It was so traumatizing for me when she left to the point where I had started having imaginary friends, which is quite awkward. Most people would term me as the awkward one in class because I did not want to talk to anybody else. She meant a lot to me. And then when I was now left to deal with the class, it was just torture because to some extent they didn't like me because I spoke good English. Really? They didn't like me because of my eh? But they just generally had an attitude towards me because whenever we were together with Michelle, we'd be like twinning, what did you English? My love for English came through my interactions with her because Michelle fluent in English because her dad worked outside the country and often at times she'd go to British land and she would always come back with something for me just to motivate me to get better at English. So through my interactions with her, my English was getting better and better and better. I gained more confidence in the English language. That's how people walikuwa wanatujua. Best friends wanaongea English. Michelle Nathan. It was through her I got the passion to speak good English. Just wow people with how you speak because she would always wow me. Tunakaa tu hivi kidogo, she's pulled out a word. I'm like, whoa, what does that mean? And she explains to me like this. Should not make me feel stupid for not knowing. Should give me a room where I can ask a question. What does that mean? It always encouraged me. Ni kama alikuwa ananipea sweet. And she was so kind. She was so kind to me. That's why I think she meant everything. She meant, oh my goodness. Eh, hey. Thoughts of her just made my heart go. And then we had a small circle. We were three. Me, Michelle, and then a friend of mine alikuwa anaitwa Keegan. We were three of us. So that I think Keegan was one class ahead of us. The three of us. English at Kiswahili. Wapi? Wapi? That thing followed me all the way up to high school. Eh? She left a mark with the English part. She left a mark. My English was always among my best subjects. It was always. Anytime I'm receiving my result slip, my English has to be either B plus kwenda mbele. Always, always had to be somewhere up there. That was it. Yeah. Before I took the blow emotionally, I was doing good. I was doing so good in English. And would compete. And I'm Peter, mimi wewe. So like she kept me on my toes, always. Always kept me on my toes. Oh, I really appreciate her to date. Mr. Morris drilled English, grammar, literature into my head in a manner that if I ever stop speaking English, if I ever just mess up my life in English anywhere, I feel like he'll tell me go and sit in the field and think about your life. Mr. Morris, he shaped me by force. And I can remember there was a time he was appointing the English class president. I really wanted it. But since it was a matter of voting and sometimes the teacher that exam I didn't pass so well, so I ended up picking somebody else. But I told myself, you know what? I'll make you proud. Mr. Morris, he did everything for me in English. That A I finally got in that final exam in English, okay, I give it to him because mwalimu wa English amegeuka mwalimu wa math. Oh, he taught English with a lot of passion. I always waited for the English lesson. In as much as alikuwa anaingia una feel, it was definitely worth it. It was absolutely worth it. Mr. Morris, And then I, sometime in high school, anytime my performance in English would drop, mom would be like, should I call your teacher? No, but no, please. He really pushed me to get better, get better, get better. And he was always concerned with my personal performance. How is it all doing? How is it all doing? How is it all doing? He really kept me on my toes. Oh, I loved that teacher. I realized that love after I got that result out of passion. Eh. And I realized even with what she was doing for us in primary was what even helped me much in high school. I was like, watu wengine wanafunzanga vitu kama hizi kweli? I came to meet them in high school and I was like, oh, so that's what he was doing. And I was like, yeah, I appreciate him to date. Even Malin saizi anapewa hiyo kitisho hiyo. English yake kienda chini. Should I call Mr. Wakuha? Because funny enough, we were taught by the same teacher of English. Yeah.
Nchini kama ndege wa angani uliniwinda, future pamoja mpenzi, mimi na wewe nimeshaiona.
It was a very nice experience until when she left. Because from that particular point, when she left, I just started suffering. Lazima tu kuteseka tu. I don't know if it's because I'd rooted myself so much in her or what, but after she left, it took me a really long time to find my own rooting from class 6 all the way to class 7, third term. Is when God brought someone else. I told God, I don't want to walk through this alone. And God, you know, I don't like to associate with so many people. I pick who I spend my time with. And after Michelle was left, I had to really fight getting myself back up academically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, just all rounded and everything. It took a lot of time for me because it got to a point where my class was just taking blows on me for no good reason. For no good reason. And the one time I tried to reach out and make a friend after Michelle left, oh my goodness, I cannot forget that pain. I cannot bring myself to forget that pain. It hurt so badly. It hurt so bad. When I tried to make one friend, and then at some point, I think tulikosana na yeye, then she got really, really sick. And I'm heading back to school for preps, and I'm concerned about my friend. Nampata hayuko. I get into class. People are in groups, and they're all quiet. When I walk into the class, there was a lot of mamas here, there. But when I entered the class, it was so quiet. I was like, have I brought in something with me, or why is everybody suddenly quiet? And then when I went to sit down, everybody who was around me just woke up and left. I was like, guys, what have I done? What is wrong? And then I hear from the back of the class someone is saying, you almost killed her. What do you mean? I've not even been told she's going to the hospital because she had a condition. She would nosebleed under any form of pressure. So most of the time, whenever she'd be having those episodes, I have a heart that gives. I want to give help. I want to give love. I have a heart that gives. So out of my good heart, I would always help. Anytime I'd see her out of class, very quickly with her paraffin and mapamba and everything, mbio, 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 go help your friend. Only for my class to come back after seeing all that and say, you're the one who tried to kill her. I was like, I'm barely even, hey, what? I asked myself so many questions. And from that time onwards, the class just didn't want to associate with me. And at that time in my life, I was handling a lot, a lot. Emotionally, I was handling a lot. Some would say you were too young to go through all of that emotional pressure, emotional stress. But I'm among those ones who have gone through that pain, that process while at a young age. It hurt so bad. It really traumatized me more than I was traumatized because I'm not healed from my best friend leaving. And then when I tried to bring somebody else into my life, she almost loses her life in hospital. You come into school, umekuja kusoma, unaambiwa karibu uwe mtoto wa mtu. Like, what do you mean? Remember that night I went home so sad. I went home so I didn't even talk to mom. I just go to the house, nienda tu nikaoga, nikaingia tu kwa blanketi na nikauliza God, God, why? You know the intention of my heart is to find a good friend. Find someone who I can love. Someone who can help me find myself. Someone who can bring me what I feel like I'd lost a long time ago, or what I feel like I've been constantly losing and losing and losing out on. So I asked God, ni mimi tu umeniona tu, mimi tu ndo nipitie haya yote. And I complained and I ranted. That's the point where now I started having acidity issues. Oh, mara heartburn. Oh, mara sijui nini. Oh, mara sijui nini. There was a time I literally had to walk with Actol tabs all over. Because I'm barely even 16. Nishaanza kusema na madawa. It was so sad for me. It was heavy. It was so heavy. And at that time at home, things were just really shaky. I'm like, I'm suffering in school. I'm suffering at home. I was like, what is this? Do I deserve this? Do I honestly deserve this kind of treatment? What wrong did I do in being a good friend to someone? In making an effort, knowing so well that I've pushed myself out there, even go make a friend. If you stay like this, you'll probably sink into depression because I used to be the kind of person who would bottle in things a lot. Something happens to me, it's really hurting, and I'll just be like, it's okay. You don't have to talk about it. Just keep it to yourself. Nobody really cares. Just keep it. Just keep it. Just keep it. Okay, for me, I think it's a coping mechanism. For me, when things hurt, I tend to go quiet and make an effort to try and process it myself because over time I've been growing in how to handle such situations to the point that it does not break you again. Because kitambo, I would keep in the issue and just let it crush me. Nasema nanyamaza ati najiekea, but not process the actual pain. I think it's more of my personality. I'm not the kind to go and talking about my issues to anybody, not unless you're really close to me. I tend to stick to my own space. I think it's more of a personality. I'll keep to my own space and I'll speak to only one or two people, one or two. That night, that evening, I went home. I was hungry. I went home for food and to shower and come back to class and study because at that time my academics, yani vitu ilikuwa tu mbaya. I was failing. I was failing my exams, failing, nosedive, failing. That's what really hurt me a lot at that particular point. So the evening when I left, she fell sick. I think it's because I think we'd had an argument or something. I just can't remember exactly what happened. Tulikosana na yeye kidogo tu. And then other things happened. She was fueled to believing that I'm a bad person and my intentions towards her were never really good. So she was rushed to hospital, I think at around 6. Jumi nilikuwa naingia class around 7. She was rushed to hospital at around 6. Me, I'm coming and I was like, what? It's an argument I think we had had, and then people fueled it into something it's not supposed to be, and she believed them. It also hurt me a little bit. She picked to believe them over me. They made her feel like I'm a bad person. Did I deserve that? No. All I ever did was want to help her, make sure she's back on her feet. But she got influenced by people's, and she had her own stresses. I think her nose just went poo. She lost a lot of blood. Then her mom was called. Her mom came to school, and then her mom, I think, talked to some of my classmates. The same classmates who don't like me. So you know what they were doing? Ni yeye, ni yeye. Then at some point when I was in class, now I'm being told what had happened. Her mom said she used to find the girl who did this to her daughter. I'm like, eh, the class chose to seclude me. Just seclude me. It hurt so much because I'm supposed to be feeling like part of you. And then you choose to sit all of you and just talk about me. Eh. For the longest time, nobody ever wanted to interact with me. So I'd be very quiet. In primary, I was quiet, especially between 6, 7, and 8. I was extremely quiet. Then, considering the fact that my personality, I will keep issues to myself. Oh, I felt even more quiet because I was handling a lot. When she came back to school, she was okay, and that was my joy, the fact that she was okay. At that point, it didn't matter what the class had said to me. I was like, she's my friend. I consider her as my friend. And I told myself, she has the free will to choose whether to believe them or to believe me. Whether to believe in my intentions that I have done for her faithfully without a fail ever since she fell sick. And I just said, you know what, I'll let it be. If you choose to stay with me as your friend, it's completely okay. And also, if you choose to believe the rest of the class and go and hang out with them, you can go ahead. And unfortunately, she chose the other one. She chose the other one. It was so hurtful. But I said, it's okay. If you're not meant to be my friend for the long run, at least in that period when I had something I could share with you, I really told myself if she benefited from being close to me, then it's okay. Although it really hurt. It really hurt because now she started spending more time with the rest of the class, the same class that does not like Ethan. Did I deserve that? No. I carried everything. I just kept everything to myself. It's okay. It's okay. That's what I used to tell myself. It's okay. And I just keep quiet and just look. Just watch. Have my eyes open. Say nothing. Do nothing. Don't react. Don't respond. Just be quiet and fall into your own space. Try and at least focus on your studies. So I think what happened, I've come to realize with myself, when life gets a lot, I will sink myself into books. I will sink myself into Nita Soma. When I feel like life is getting, I go back to the book. So I was really hurting and I was like, I have one shot, niko na siblings nyuma yangu, mimi ndo mtoto wa kwanza. I am hurting so badly. I can't talk to anyone about it. Books, 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 books. But at some point, I felt like that hurt was supposed to do something to me in my life because when it really hit me, I picked up and it really hit me there. Academically, nikaanza tu kupanda tu pole pole tu, but I picked myself up in, I think, grade 8. That's when I think all the emotional imeanza kusettle. But yeah.
It's a feeling I can't hide. Something close to paradise. Anytime I see you. My life is a testimony.
I remember when we were in grade 8 and then watu anasema mkuja sana nataka kuchagua shule. I was with my mom and dad na tumekaa chini and tunaangalia hii malist ya mashule mingi and I was like oi. Then kulikuwa na category ya national school and at that time I was so ambitious. I was like I want to go to Moi Kabarak. I want Kabarak. I think that's the school we wrote, but then mom was like no, Asumbi Girls. And I was like okay. So I gave Kabarak, I think, as my second option for high school, the national ones. And then kwa extra county kulikuwa tuna majina zingine zingine tu hapo tu, some funny funny names. And then there was one that stood out in mom's heart. She was like, first option, extra county, Kapsabet Girls. So we wrote Kapsabet Girls. And then we sent that document and we waited. Then there came exams. We did the exams. The exams were great. The exams were great because considering how much I had struggled, picked myself up, and then also nilikuwa private school, so moderation was pinched. It pinched a lot of my marks, so I ended up scoring 383, which was quite good for me. For me, that was good considering my own struggles. I was amazing. That was amazing. And I can remember the joy in people's voices on that day so fondly. It has stuck with me to date. It has stuck with me to date. I can remember I was home alone when I was receiving those results. Now my in the job, I'm like, you have to go when results are coming in. This day is super special to me. Where are you going? Ah, unaenda wapi? Then she said, I will. I've never seen a mother so prompt na performance like my own mother. Ati results inatoka, atashinda hivi kwa simu. Anaangalia tu, anainua hivi kichwa, anaangalia tu. Imetoka? Hapana. Acha ningoje. Eh, salute mom. Yeah, salute mom. Wow, 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 wow. I can remember as soon as me nilikuwa nimekaa home na watch TV. Sikia tu, oh, the first student has 400 and something. I'm like, where did you get that brain capacity? I'm like, where is my name? Will I appear among those ones? Because I know I've worked for it. I've sweat. I've cried. I've toiled. I've crushed everything for that exam. Because I knew the back of my head, if there's something mom has always drilled in me, you have to make a way for your siblings. Whether you like it or not, you have to make a way for your siblings. I salute to mom again. Eh? What? So nimekaa tu hivi, mimi nilikuwa tu shughuli zangu, amemaliza kurelease. Sasa I'm now becoming anxious. Nimepata nini? Nataka kujua nimepata nini. Najaribu kupigia mom. Sasa nikampigia mara kwanza, akaniambia na nataka kucheck saizi. Sasa mimi nilikuwa natembea tu polepole tu, I'm outside, I'm pacing because I'm feeling anxiety. Then I see mom's call. I was like, hey. Then mom on the other side of the phone, she's dressed. She's overexcited. She's like, I'm like, Sema, mapata nini? Makaniambia, Ethan, mapata 383. I dropped the phone. I ran. I ran all the way to the gate. I ran all the way back to the house. Hey! I was overjoyed. I was so happy. And then nikakumbuka, oh, nilikuwa naongea na mama mbio 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 mbio, nilikuwa ninangusha PC nikachukua. Mom another said she was so happy. I think that thing really stayed with me. Yes, so I can remember siku mama kikuja, the smile on her face. Alikuja kidance. My mom, when she gets excited, she'll just start dancing. Then she came with her phone and she's like, she hugged me first of all. She told me congratulations. Then tukakaa, we're now looking, hey, in English you got this, in Kiswahili you got this, in science you got this, in SST you got this. I was proud of myself at that particular point. And as much as it came as, okay, I was proud of myself, yes. At the same time, I felt sort of disappointed because I expected more. But then considering moderation, I hit my target. And that is what mom helped me feel comfortable in. You've gotten this, but just know the back of your head, minus moderation. You definitely hit your target. You hit your, hey, you do hit your target. I was so happy. I was so happy. Mom just kept smiling at me the entire time. I'm like, feeling so prominent. And then masimu zinapigwa, oh, ipala mpata nini. Mom, mom was more excited to announce than I was. Na mimi ndo nilikuwa nafanya exam. She would go, oh, amepata nini. She was so happy, of which she deserves to be that happy because kusomea testimony was not a joke. Because mom likes to say, if whenever you walk into testimony, you should be walking with your head held high, so high. Not even once should I see you in that space na unatembea TV. Why are you shrugging your head? You've made me so proud. And I was like, you made the school proud. I'm like, and then you know what the best part of receiving that results was for me? When I was looking at that list, part of the class that always told me, you can't make it, you can't make it. They were all below me. All of them below. All, I was like, oh my god. And from that point onwards, they've always been afraid to approach me. At wanafanyanga tu hivi at an angle. Wanichunguliange tu. I felt the song in my heart at that particular time was a song of God of vengeance because God saw what I went through. God saw what I went through. It was not easy. And especially the time when I was doing that exam. I did that exam in a very broken state. KCPE. That exam so broken because I'd built on another friendship that I'd asked God for. And he was so direct. I told God, just a little bit of a rewind. I said, I am not getting into any friendship with nobody. God, bring me a friend. Mi siendi kutafuta. Mi siendi kutafuta. The same way you have provided for me all this while, I want to ask for one person who I can take care of. That was what my prayer was. A friend who I can take care of. That's what I prayed for. Now you know what God does. Here comes another friend. She's called Daisy. Daisy came into that class on that day. The day before I actually met her, kulikuwa na conversation class. Oh, kuna another girl anakuja kwa shule yetu. She's handicapped. And I felt in my heart, in relation to that prayer, that one, that, and I just felt that urge so strong. I want her to be my friend, or I would love her to be my friend. You know what God does? The day when she's brought into class, nilikuwa nimekaa mbele, then analetwa na wheelchair. I'm the first person she says hi to. And I was like, hi. I don't even know how, but I just know God answer that prayer like, there you go, my daughter. Here, I have answered, I have glorified myself. Hey. I felt so special. I felt so close to God when He answered that prayer in that manner. I asked for someone I can take care of who can be my friend, a person who I can minister to. Yes, not even take care of them. A person, someone who I can minister to. They can get something from me and I can give something to them. So God brought this lady, this very beautiful lady. She's called Daisy. Daisy and I became very good friends. Very, very good friends. And I committed myself to making sure that Daisy is okay in school. Anytime she needs to go to the washroom, ni mimi. She's going to eat, ni mimi. She's going to the field, ni mimi. She wants to go out, ni mimi. She wants to go do anything, ni mimi. She needs something gotten for her, I would always give I gave my heart out to her because I knew this is a friend that I asked for. So I went all in the friendship. I went all in. Yes, I did interact with her parents, her dad more so because her mom was out of the country most of the time. So I got to know her dad because every time during night prep, I would not leave until when she gets home. Until when I see her dad amemkujia, when everybody else would leave and be like, oh, no, no, no." I said, I will always stay by her side because I know, oh, this is the friend I asked for. This is who God has given to me. And I was very specific with that prayer. Someone I can take care of, someone I can minister to. What a greater blessing than that. What a greater blessing. So I gave my all in. So I got to know her dad because most of the time, after kila mtu ameenda, tunakaa tu sawa, we are watching the night sky. Tunapiga story, her dad comes, I help her to get into the car, I fold her wheelchair, I take it to where it's supposed to be kwa boot. Then after that, I take my things and I go home. Juu perhaps ilikuwa inaisha 9. Sometimes nifike home like till 10, 10:30, but it's okay. I'll probably wake up tired, I might oversleep, but I am living my prayer. I'm living my prayer. Hey, literally living my prayer. So I got to know her dad because of the ministry with her. Often at times, and then a point, mama, because we built our friendship so much. Mama kichelewa, baba DC ananidrop. Baba DC kichelewa, tunapeleka DC home. So it built rapport for friendship with her dad. Then when I would go over to their place, I'd meet her dad. Tutapiga story nini. Her mom I got to know her on call, though not so much. On call once in a while. Yeah.
Kufa kupona utazidi kuwa wangu nambari moja. Hivi pamoja tujitahidi hadi tuanzishe boma.
The day when they're selecting the schools after results, school selection. You remember that day when I said tulikuwa tumekaa, then mama akasema kwa moyo yake, Kapsabet Girls. Kapsabet Girls. I was outside. I had no idea they were sending huyu ameitwa hii shule. Niko nje. Then mom kawaida yake anafurahi. She gets so excited. Akasema tu Kapsabet Girls. And I'm like, okay. Kapsabet Girls. And she's like, it's a very good school. And I'm like, okay. Because at first I did not really know there was a Kapsabet Girls. Me, I knew there was a Kapsabet Boys. I think I'd only heard of it once at that particular point. I'd heard of it once when a churchmate alisomeanga huko. Right now she's in the US. Salute to her. So I was called. I got a letter. Kapsabet Girls, the top girl school in Nandi County. I was like, oh, so I'm privileged. I'm privileged. Not even privileged. I am chosen. I was like, I was handpicked to be put in that school because, if there's any place that has built me so much in life, it is those grounds. Kapsabet Girls. I don't care what everybody else thinks about their work in that school. I was not working with them. I was walking my own journey. Pole pole tu mos with God. If there's a place I literally look back and I'm like, I learned so much. I got rooting in myself now, not looking for rooting in others. Rooting in myself. High school. Best part of my life. Best part. I'm not saying best part because of smiling. Most of the time it was never really a smile. But the kind of impact that school has left, Aki, I mean, I will sing Kapsabet Girls until the day I'm grey and old. I will sing. I will sing. I will sing. Aki, I will sing. I beg, oh, me, I go, I will sing of that school forever. And I can remember the day of admission, 2nd of August 2021, because people wanted to quote COVID babies because they stayed home for 5 months after COVID and everything. Yeah, sort of come to brand at COVID babies. Weird name, but it was 2nd of August 2021 when I was holding my box with my mom. Tuliamka mapema lakini bado tukafika. Woke up very early, super excited. Oh, I'm going to high school. Kwanza the night before, nilipanga. Not even night, the week. I was so excited because I never had a boarding experience. I was like, nilipanga sitting room, not wajue naenda. Guys, I am checking out. I am leaving my box, my mattress, my stuffs, uniform. I was so excited. I was feeling super excited. 2nd of August 2021 was the day when I got admitted into Kapsabet Girls at exactly 9 p.m. My mother left me to a society I've never lived in before. All alone. No family members, no nothing. There's nobody you know. It's you and your God. Literally. There's no turning back useme, nataka kutransfer. In whose house? Hey, where you are called? I was handpicked. That's what I choose to believe for myself in that school. Kapsabet Girls. My heart is filled with joy every time I talk about that school so much because that is where I think I found, not even think, I know I found some of the principles that I will forever choose to hold on to like this until the day I'm going to my grave. That is a place where I found rooting. and the kind of person I am. I got an understanding. It's a lot happened. High school. Form one was the most exciting time for me in high school. I was super excited, overly excited actually. I was so excited. I was motivated. I Form one was awesome. I was vibrant. Vibrance I'd lost. I was vibrant, very vibrant. And by the time I'm getting into, I only took 3 days to know all the corners of the school. While others are taking around a week to adjust to high school life, I only took 3 days. That's why I believe I was chosen into that school. I was handpicked and put in that school because there was grace, a lot of it. So, from one, although I did have my own shakes about settling because there are times when I would get scared, I want to see my mom, I want to talk to my dad, I want to talk to my siblings, I'd get panicking and everything, and I'd start hyperventilating and everything. Or suspicion that oh my divorce. By the way, my school was a very spiritually safe space. It was a very spiritually locked, not trespassing. Our school, ulikuwa unaingia kwa gate, una feel I'm safe, especially spiritually. Our school imezungukwa. That I know it's something I will always feel because mom, every single time, my mom is a prayer warrior. Salute to my mom. Every time tunaingia kwa gate ya shule, open up all ye gates of Kapsabet Girls and receive what the Lord has placed. That prayer every single time. And you literally walk in, you feel a transition. Una feel, sijui kama ilikuwa mi peke yangu ama I was protected. I was a protected child, not just because of my mother's prayers, but because my school was spiritually safe. But sasa form one unaingia hata nakwambia sijui nini, sijui tuliona sijui nini, tulisikia sijui nini. Ka tension fulani kanakuingia, but what I know, my school spiritually, we are set apart. We are set apart. The environment for me, others had it rough. For me, I'm telling you, there was grace for me to be in that school. There was grace. Others are suffering, mi naona. Watu wanakonda, mi naona. Watu wanasink, me I'm rising. There was grace for me to be in that school. That's why I may choose to say I was chosen into that school. Those roots, those grounds needed me to be there for me to function. Because when I think about it, if I got into any other kind of school, I don't think I'd be where I would be right now. I would not. So for one, nilikuja kujua watu wengi sana hadi nilikuwa nashtuka na capacity ya kichwa yangu kwa sababu nilikuwa najua majina ya kila mtu by around the first 3 weeks. All from ones walikuwa wananijua. Ile ni Ethel, smiling machine. Yep. Class rep. Yeah. Although I was quite petite. Nilikuwa kadogo sana. Nilikuwa nazunguka na skirt kijitu. The grey skirt. Nilikuwa inazunguka tu hivi tu. Nilikuwa nakaa confused. Nywele umeshika hadi acha tu. But form one for me was very exciting. It got me a lot of grounding with people. My network. I built my network with people in Kapsabet Girls in form one. That's where I got my network from. With people. Miss Kwaikwam, I always knew someone. I always knew someone. Not because of my interactions in form 2, form 3, form 4. No. In form 1. All form 1s walikuwa wananijua. Ethel, the dark one. Yes, the dark one, that one. Yeah. Form 1 was very vibrant for me because, my favorite subject, chemistry. I started teaching my class chemistry. They didn't ask me to, but nilifika. The first book I had, KLB form 1, chemistry. And you know that 1 week when you arrive to school, I'm funzi. So I was like, I can't sit idle. I struggle with that. Kukaa tu. Na nikasirisha ati nimekaa tu. I like an industrial space. You're doing something productive. I come alive. So nilikuwa tu ndio kitabu moja. I read that KLB. Nilisoma hiyo KLB. That's why I got my grounding in chemistry in form 1. Because when everybody else is looking at an atlas, I was always not kama vitabu kwa chemistry. But it's okay. That's how I got the position as class rep or chemistry subject representative. I started teaching my class. My class liked me. In form 1 again, I got selected as a peer counselor. I was like, will you join scouts? What else did I do? I was a scout. I got my first position of leadership in Form 1. Yeah. And from there, things just started picking up. I'm telling me I was not, Miss Kutupo shule. I was called into the grounds of Kapsabet Girls always favored me. They, any literally nilikuwa na feel kuna uwepesi fulani even when it's heavy. Kulikuwa tuna uwepesi fulani. But generally, Form 1 for me, that's why I got roots zilikuwa zimeanza sasa coming to be one with the grounds of the place. There's this song that says, I'm backed up. I am backed up. God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit, all the three in one. They're the army behind me. That is literally my life.
I walk with God the Father, walk with God the Son, I walk with God the Spirit. Three of them join, I get back and go. I know they walk alone.
Because I come from a background where God is everything. God is everything. God is no matter what you're doing. No matter how small it is. I have been rooted in Christianity from the time when I knew life. I always had this story. There's God. There is a God. From my mom most of the time because I would see my mom lock up herself and just go pray. And nilikuwa najiulizanga nikiwa mdogo. But me being in that school and feeling all of that replace, there was grace, there was favor, there was anointing, there was abundance, there was a lot. I pin it on God, all glory, all honor to God because it's not normal. People are struggling, but I didn't struggle. I am backed up by prayers. I live life in prayer. Because mimi kama ningekuwa high school na singekuwa najua Mungu, probably I would have just suffered. Because I cannot tap into the blessings, I cannot tap into the wellness of, in as much as I can say my family or my family, oh, yes, it's there, but I have to tap into it myself also. Because if they're all just praying for you, ni kama sasa inakuwa inashikiliwa hivi. You can't reach to it unless you also tap into it. So I also had to be in sync with what all around me is saying. There's God, there's God, there is God. I believe. My spiritual background, I'm secure. I got the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit, all the three in one. That's my backup. In Form 1, it's a very interesting place to be because kuna prep sikuwa nasoma. Ask me why. Watu wanalia. Everybody is crying. I know I have a big heart. I see someone cry. It cuts me too. Sijajua mbona, but I don't like seeing someone else suffer. I don't like a space where kuna huzuni fulani, especially when it's more about other people. It gave me a chance to make friendships. What I felt like I lost when I was in primary, never really had a good friendship. All of them were, ooh. I was like, niliingia high school with a completely new mindset. In primary, I was very quiet. In high school, I was talkative. In Form 1. In Form 1, I was extremely talkative. I got friends. I got to know people. I got a chance to feel like I'm being. Kuna venye nilikuwa na feel ka I thrive. Ingawa niko na tu mabawa, tunafanya tu hivi. Whenever I talk to someone and they smile after they're done talking to me, it always made me feel whole. And it would make me feel complete. It was so amazing. I love me. People. People. Being a peer counselor really impacted even my mentality, my mindset towards life, because you can't be preaching water, drinking wine. It forced me to grow up because every single time I was being reminded, you have to be strong because you have people who are on your back. That's a ukilia. That is a common statement. That's a ukilia. I never shed a tear in front of my class because there was this my teacher. Don't cry in front of them because wewe ndo wanakutegemea. Wells of wisdom. They always be like, oh, peer counselor, peer counselor. Being a peer, it did a lot for me. Psychologically, mentally, emotionally. Ilini mold. It molded me. It's a very beautiful thing, I believe. In as much as I grew, who said growing is easy? Who said to rise up, you will just and you're all the way up there? For you to get to that particular point, you must have gone through something. For you to build that amount of strength, you must have gone through something. And trust me, there was a time I took a very heavy toll in Form 2. But I don't know, the same thing that happened to me in primary came again. A class that doesn't want you, a class that can't embrace you. Number one, because I spoke English 90% of the time. Because I was very active in class. I don't know what happened to them in Form 2. They just got an attitude towards me, a negative one. And they kept it all the way to Form 4. I thank them for doing that because I learned to stay to my own lane. Focus. Focus. It took a heavy toll, especially in Form 2 and Form 3. Those are two very long years. Form 2 and Form 3. The first one was the pain of being rejected by people you have made sacrifices they will never understand for just cannot be explained. Sometimes I would feel like sijui nisimame hapa mbele na niwaambie guys, mnaniumiza. You don't see my effort. You don't see my sacrifice. I'm also a student. I could be studying the way you are studying. I could be working as hard the way you're working hard. Of course I am, but this responsibility will take into your time. It will take into your time, especially if you find someone who is suicidal. There are times when literally preps yangu Ethel ametafutwa. Nini mbaya? There's a girl who is depressed who needs this and this and this from she's seriously depressed, like depressed. And she doesn't want to talk to anyone else. Who does she want to talk to? She wants to talk to Ethel. I asked myself why, and I was like, I can't explain, it's just grace. At that time, Form 2 and Form 3, it took a heavy toll on me because especially that particular time, it's time consuming. If you're not built to hear people's stories, some will break you, some will affect you. Some people's stories did affect me. Listening to what some people go through. At some point, na feel, mbona nakuona different after nisikia your story. But always keep the mindset of don't judge, lest you're also judged. Just listen. Give a listening ear. And what anytime I would go and I'm telling myself I'm going to minister to someone, I'd always ask God, give me what to say. Because if I go there not knowing what I'm going to say, neza blanda, neza umiza huyu mtu. So any single time, even when I didn't want to, I would just, God, I do not know what this person has in their heart. I don't know if they're going to lash out. I don't know if they're the angry kind who will probably want to beat me as they're talking. I don't know, but give me the words to speak to them. What do you want to say to them? What do you know that they need to hear that can encourage them at any particular point? But one thing I know, it was time consuming. Emotionally, it was. You listen to someone telling you a story about how they were raped by 5 men, and 90% of the time they're so insecure about them sitting in class. Na natoka, anakuja kutafuta wewe. It's you I want to talk to. I ask myself, mbona mimi? Nataka kwenda kusoma shwari. Mbona mimi? But I was like, let me just sacrifice. Even in my class, even if they don't want me to be the person who they want to listen to, I'll just sacrifice. I'll just sacrifice. They may not see the point of it. There are those who will appreciate, and for those ones, I always feel good. For mwenye ata appreciate kitu nafanya, we just do something for them. And for the 90% of the clan that does not want to appreciate or see what you do for them and choose to hurt you more because of what you're doing, at you hope you're counselor. At be a counselor fanyangi. There was one statement that really hurt me once. Upia counselor when will resign. I'm not the kind of person to go and talk to you publicly. I will take you aside and I will tell you. It's like this, like this, like this. Or you can look for me, Kando. So it got to a point where my class was feeling like you're not being active, au tusaidie mashida zetu, usikie mashida zetu ni nini. And I was like, have you asked those ones who have looked for me? Because at that particular point, especially in Form 3, Form 2, Form 3, I also needed someone to listen to me because it was getting really heavy. It was getting really heavy. Form 2, Form 3. Oh my goodness. It was getting heavy. They would come lash out about their issues. Sometimes I'd feel like shouting, I don't want to listen to your problems. Nobody's listening to me when I want someone to speak to. And when I honestly need someone to speak out to, you all don't have time. All of you don't have time. All of you want to sit down and talk about me. And I honestly just, I'm asking for someone to just listen to me. There's a point I was so desperate. Karibu nijipate naongea in all the wrong places. Yeah. The time when I really needed someone to listen to me, they never showed up. And they always bandaged on my back. Yeah, counselor, you got this. What? I got what? Life is weighing me down. I'm not even 18. I'm not even legal to be having all these problems and all this stress. Academically, emotionally, psychologically stressed. And there's no outlet. No outlet. No outlet. Nobody. Then the sudden wind of coldness I would always feel in primary became very familiar. I became so scared. I was like, God, this again. I came here so vibrant, expecting much from life, from a different space, that at least they could embrace me, my personality. I went looking in all the wrong places. Where? My class. Well, we are one, but they always, there's a point they used to say, we are 57 and you are 58. We are 58 minus 1. That thing really hurt me. They would say it in my presence. We are 58 minus 1. My class just had an attitude towards me. They didn't like my go for it spirit. They didn't like it. Because I'm the kind of person where if I choose I want this, I'm not shaking my mind. This I want is this I'm going for. So they didn't like the fact that I was different. How I would speak is different. How I present myself is different. How I would address issues is different. So I often used to feel like they maybe had an issue with how I have built myself, what I've been gifted with. Because it got to a point. It's the fact that I'm a Peter chemistry. No, so now you don't like me because I'm passing chemistry. You don't want to come and consult me because you're feeling. Did I deserve that? No. I did not deserve that. But did happen. I braved it on like a soldier. Yeah, I chose to keep my focus. My gifts in leadership just sprouted in that place in Kapsabet Girls. They really just sprouted because in Form 3, in Form 1, I was selected as assistant dome prefect. It was one of the worst experiences because it is not one of the domes you'll want to be in because everybody out there is saying, Kiborgok is the ugliest, the dirtiest dome. You want all sorts of problems. Enda Kibori. Now, when the wake up prefect for your space, How people would talk so badly about it, and how when I never did anything about that space, it would wear off on me. In Form 1, I was looking very shaggy, extremely shaggy. Until one day mtu akasema, mtu alikuja kuniambia kuna mtu alisema, I was passing by, ona ule prefect mchafu ni wa Kibori. I've never been struck by words like that before. I changed my ways, nikaweka mpaka nikasema nobody is allowed to call me dirty ever again. I accept. Anyway, sikuanga na brush kiatu for like almost nilikuwa na brush Sunday peke yake. Nilikuwa na reba shati. I was among, feeling like, oh yeah, oh high school tunaogaza words peke yake tunafanya hivi. Until I realized somebody said what about me? Damaging my image. Actually, I changed. Nikaanza kubrush viatu kila break time. My shirt was always white. My shirt was always tucked. My skirt was always clean. My socks are always white. My hair was always neatly kept. As from Form 2 when I had that comment. Then there's a time I was feeling so sad when I released results ya dom. Dom yangu iko huko chini. So I went home to mom crying, "Mom, dom yangu anasema sijui nini. Na feel vibaya. Watu wananiongelelea. Tukienda prefects meeting, wananigombanisha." Na ndi mwenye ni mkubwa wangu. I had to take responsibility mapema. I was the assistant but I behaved like the captain. Not really by choice. You grow into step up. You had to step up because the one who was above me was just lazy. Na ilikuwa inanisinya. A lazy behavior. Na mimi ndo nilikuwa natafutwa. Mimi ndo niingia kwa shida na matron. Mimi sijui ndo nafaa sijui ni. Mom, that I will never forget that conversation I had with my mother. Tulikaa chini mpaka na book and pen. What did people say? This and this and this and this. Is it true? Was the question. Okay, nikasema, yes, mom. So why are you crying? Because it hurts so much. But is it true? Have you done anything about it? Have you established your command in that space where you've been given leadership as, Ethan, this is your responsibility. You take care of Kibolgok House. Everybody inside it is literally under your care. Because that dome was big. A dome of almost 90 people. And I would compare myself. Oh, dome ya Neka wa kwanza ni dome sijui Ndalat. Ndalat is small. How do I compare myself with people who are just 40? I have 90 babies and I'm literally. So I was like, na mom do hapo. Do you have rules for your house? No, we don't have rules. Have you established your command? Ina maana that mtu akijua akifika Kiborgok, you hear Ethan say, go to sleep. I'm not asking twice and ulale. It's that or you deal with the consequences. That's where, from that day, mom alinisaidia kukoroga kitu. And I went back to school so focused about making sure my dorm improves. So I put in some measures to get things getting better. You want to walk in, go look for me. You look for me, you won't find me. I'm not easy to find, I'm not easy to access. And if you want to go in, you must seek my permission. So if it's best for you, just stay away. Then I started making progress. Pole pole, then moved from being number 13, 14 to number 7, number 8 with the new implementations I'd said, because I got to school the same day we had a meeting with the house and I'll set my rules, and there was grace for that, even for the people who were there. They didn't sikuwaisema ati for once Ethan is too strict nilikuwa mkali, najua, because I know if I legea watanikalia, because I'm also a student. And I was like, I'm not going to take that. I speak, you listen. I am an authority, and Junajigamba or anything, no. I have been given this responsibility and I will be held accountable if anything is not right. So ikaenda hivyo nikaeka kwa captain, because in as much as there was that farm space, one of the things I always wanted to do with that dome is make it a space where everybody wants to come and be. Naona malipinyota walikuwa nasema for money Kibori mimi siwezi enda, ni chafu sijui nini. One of the things I had said is I want this to be a space where it invites people to be there because of the space that you've created, the environment that you have around you. Let it be warmly and welcoming. You come in but you stay within the limits. Don't break these rules, otherwise utatoka. So in as much as I was firm with the students who I was with, I also built a relationship with them. If anything is wrong, you can still come and talk to me and I will give you an ear. I will still listen to you and I will address the issue. So they knew at what particular point I get, And at particular point, I toned down and I can actually listen. And they would always, it got to a point where people could say, "Wenda wapi? Mimi naenda Kibori." I was like, hey, nimegonga ndipo. People can say that. Sasa nilikuwa nasikianga tu kwa watu, ndio usiku walikuwa wanapenda kuongea. Nilikuwa tunasikia because I would always the last one to sleep. I would always, mtu alikuwa anasema, aren't you doing too much? No, I'm doing my responsibility. You can't handle your own. Don't poke your nose into my business. I will make sure everybody who sleeps in this dorm ako safe, ako sawa na ameingia kitanda. I'd only sleep the last one. Sacrifices we make for responsibilities sometimes. I grew into the dormitory space. I went from assistant captain to captain, and then from assistant captain, I chose to school captain. It was a calling, it was grace, it was favor. Because I can remember knowing how firm I could be with people, but still be able to, it needed a lot of balance. Mtu ajue mali penye, ikifika hapa, umenikosea, and I will change. I will go from to it took a lot of learning how to balance that. And one thing I always loved is, in as much as I was strict with my rules ya kwa dom, as I was progressing, mtu tu angekuja aniambie tu, "Hey, Ethel, sijui nini, there's this and this is happening," somebody could still come and talk to me. I felt like a mother in a way. I felt a motherly spirit. Because Kibori at some point, just when I stepped up to captain, it became warm. And one thing I would always do, because I knew I'd committed myself, sitoki hapa kama Kibori ijakuwa number one. And I got myself obsessed with making my dome among the best, making my dome among the best. It just must be among the best. It just must be. Every day I would be the one who would lock the key, the door. Anytime before I leave, I just put my hand on that door because they hear and they respond. I'll just pray for my dome because that is my home. I know it would sound weird to some people, like, Mona uombe dome. Eh? Do you know what is going on in other houses? Every single morning as I'm leaving for class, I'd always just take my time, at least just 5 minutes, and just speak and address that dome as Kiborgok, my home. My home. You will listen, you will respond, you will comply, and you will bring the best out of you. Whether you like it or not, I am not working on this project alone. God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit, God's backup. Every single day for 2 years praying. And I'm like, God, why are we not moving? Tulishinda po number 7, 8. Tujaribu sana number 6. When I was leaving, heading for school captain, okay, because my dom had been making significant progress. You know, it's actually, it was never really in my plan to become a school captain. Never. Never. I just used to feel, I would look at like our captains, the previous captains, and be like, I feel like I can tweak something about how you handle this and make it better. But I just keep it to myself. At some point, people in my class were like, those ones who appreciated me for who I am. Because even in my class, I established command. You will not talk to me the way you want to talk to me. I will listen to you when you come to me, you have an issue. I will be your friend, but have your limits with me. Because even in class, watu wakawa wamezoea kusema, tunaogopa Ethel. Tunataka kwenda kuongea na nani? One thing I always loved is people would think twice before they'd come and talk to me because they know I'm not spending my time excessiveness. I'm not overspending my time with you. Fika time flani, I'm out. There's a way I loved operating in a manner to just gain me respect. So by the time I was heading for school captain, not even school captain, nilikuwa nataka head of boarding. Because I was like, my dog is making progress. I could do well in controlling, or not controlling, really, that's the wrong term, in managing and getting things set in place in the school's boarding system. I was like, I want to become school captain, head of boarding. Little did I know, mi naangalia hapa, nimeshinda tu hapa, and there's that one huko juu. I was not made for small things. Even though that is what I would believe So by the time I was leaving, nikaacha kwa prefect wa Kibori, our dorm had become number one, I think, 3 times. And we had been awarded as the most improved dorm, I think, twice. Although I never really partook of that gift, I knew my efforts built up to something. And that by the time I was stepping, I was so proud. When Captain Kiborgo house, I felt the pride watu wa Ndalatu walikuwa nasema wanafeel wanafanya fanya tu hivi wakiendea gifts zao. I'm like, every single time they were being awarded as gifts, I was just looking, I don't know, with me, I observe, I mark what I want, and I say it to myself, I'm going for that one. So I just look at them tiny awarding and I'm like, I want that. I want to be gifted. To some extent, I want to be acknowledged for my efforts. At least they say Ethel did something for Kiborgok, brought life back into it. Eh, I was so proud of myself. Tumekuwa number one mara tatu. Kibori dom niliingia from watu wanasema hatuwezi karibia dom. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of patience. It took a lot of commitment because there are days when I would just say, I give up. And I'm like, mi sitaki kuwa dom prefect. But then when you're wananijua would come and just say, Ethel, just don't stop. Just don't stop. Don't give up. There are days, because prefects would adorn in a red tie and a grey sweater. I'd be like, taking all my red ties and I'm taking my grey sweater to the deputy's office because leadership is not really easy. It is extremely hard. Watu wako class unaitwa uende ufanye inspection kwa dom. Kitu ilikuwa inaniuma. Unatolewa class ati uende uangalie ati toilets zimoshwa. Umeitwa kwa deputy disciplinary case kwa dom. I'm a student. Watu wako class. But I have responsibility. I have to take accountability. I just have to step up. So I was heading for head of boarding, and then now in the period of waiting, I didn't know, but I just felt it in my heart because I used to observe how I would operate. I would look at our school captains and I'm like, I feel if I were to have a discussion with you, I'd tell you handle this in this way, handle this in this way, handle that in this particular. I feel take this direction. Don't do that. You've overreacted. Calm down. Handle this matter like this. Don't blow out in public. Address those who have been concerned in that particular matter. But I was like, who am I to speak? Who knew I would once get a chance to implement what I'd always felt like is done wrong by the leaders who have been ahead of me? So I slipped in everybody knew Ethel was going for head of boarding. Nikaenda poka box. I slipped in the application letter for school captain in charge of boarding. And that's what I told everyone. That's what I'm going for because my dorm was doing good. So me, I believed I belonged there. And then I felt go for something higher. I was like, no, somebody else could do it better. Go for something higher. No, take a smaller space. Go for something. It was a voice in my heart. Go. Like, no. Go. No. Go. And I'm like, no. Then I can remember what made me believe that position was made for me. Once again, I was not thrown into that school. I was handpicked to be in that school to serve for particular reasons. Tukienda vetting for head of boarding, I was talking, they were asking me questions. Why would you want to become a head girl in charge of boarding? And I was like, these are my principles. 1, 2, 3. I operate on 1, 2, 3. I will do this and this for you. Benefit to the students is this. Benefit for me is this. And they looked at me. Teachers would ask me questions. The school disciplinary would ask me questions. And I can remember one thing that really stood out on that day was they asked me about 5 times. And what if we gave you the position of being school captain? I was like, no, no. I've seen those people suffer. I've seen those people cry. Go. Hey. Especially when they make the students angry with what they choose to do. Especially because they've not thought twice about the action they're going to take. I was like, no. The first one I said, not really. Then I demeaned myself in public. I said, I don't believe it's on me. Somebody else can handle it better. So the DOS asked me, why do you believe we should give this to somebody else and not you? I just laughed. I could not give an answer. They asked me again, what if we give another person now? What if we why don't you just why don't you? What if we give you the position of being school captain? I'm like, no, no. I resisted. I resisted. I was like, nope, can't work. Not me. Mi nikajua wamesettle naenda kwa head of boarding because when I left they asked me about 5 times different people. I'm like, I left that place asking myself, mbona wameniuliza hivyo? What are they seeing that I'm not seeing? I brush it off nikijua head of boarding. Na nilikuwa najua that when I could bag, I could handle feeling yeah. Hmm. So the day when we were being called, those top prefects to be told you're especially those ones where the students are involved in voting for you. The students say we want this leader, we want this leader, we want this leader. You're called and then you to the deputy's office and then you're told, you, you, this title, you're going against each other. You, this title, you're going against each other. So akaanza na compound, everything, entertainment, dining hall, academics. I'm like, kufika kwa boarding, sisikii jina yangu. I'm like, did you guys cancel out my name or something? Only for me to hear the position of the school captain. I think even the deputy noticed the expression on my face. I was like, it's Tanisha Harap and Victorine Bitok. And you know, when we were going for a crossfire, the students ask you questions. Why do you think we should give you this? If we give you this, what will you give to us? How are you going to help us in meaning? It was a very interesting experience. It was very, very interesting. We were going for a crossfire. I prepared points and studied the way the crossfires would go for a very long time. Like tabia yangu, I will sit back, I will observe, I will make an analysis, and I will choose on what to do. All the years I was just mwenye anapata alisema nini, mbona alisema hivyo, what was the students reaction, why did they react like that, did she do this, is this the reason why the students love her, because she can do this, what did she do, what did she implement, what did she not implement. So it was nakanga nikaa nimekaa chini nimetulia lakini kwa kichwa yangu. So over the years I think I'd been doing that, so I was fully prepared for that crossfire, head of boarding. Then now I'm being told you have to go and prepare for asking the students to give you their votes for position of school captain. Did I want this? Hamkunisikia nikisema hapana. Hamkunisikia nikikataa mara tano kamili, mara tano. I'm rushing out. Those who were with me there were also like, because mwenye aliendea position ya nini school captain aliteremshwa, then mimi nikapandishwa. I was like, ascending grace. ascending grace. Yeah. Now I have to prepare for the crossfire, tell the students, and you know the position of being, it is not easy. People will just dismiss it. Ask me who has been through it. It is not easy. People will just dismiss them as somebody who is just ordinary. It is not easy to balance everything on your shoulders. The whole population is looking at you like, literally everywhere you go. You can have a Peter. So how did we get to that particular point? It is because I got elected as the school captain. That was in 2023. I think it was on October. Students, I went completely unprepared for that crossfire. I told God, Nenda fuke, whatever you choose. If this is what you want for me, give it to me. Do not withhold it from me. If you know I deserve this, bless me in this way. For the sacrifices I could have made, I have been making. If it is your will, well and good. If it is not, I'll just back down and focus on my books. So, the votes came. I was the first one to make my own vote. funza keka ndani. As a result, I being in the house. That time I think a population of about 1,500 students. You know, they'll say everybody, and then they'll be like, hey, hey, when they're releasing, when amechabiliwa, hey, na walikuwa nakuja na masahani, a lot of excitement, mashangwe na nderemo, nini. That was the most beautiful day of my life. At the same time, I was so shaken on that day. It was beautiful, yes. I stepped into a very huge shoe. Kiatu kikubwa jamani, kiatu. It was a huge shoe. I can remember the position of school captain. I felt like everything went silent. The position of the school captain, Kapsabet Girls, high school. Victory in Bitok, runners up with 200. Then, you know, the high school crowd atacheka. So, why? At that particular point, I felt kidogo ni fly. Itatanisha Harab, the school captain 2023-2024 Kapsabet Girls with 1,329 standing votes. And then all of a sudden the crowd went, and everybody was shouting, everybody was happy. I've never felt so celebrated. Okay, I have, but in that particular moment, they celebrated me. Kidogo nijiulize, nambona, because I knew my network was good, but they were happy. They were, even for once, my class worker branded the class as State House. Why? Because the school president is sitting in our class. State House moment. I was feeling so prominent. I was feeling achieved. Walinibeba. The students lifted me. You, the girl. It was so beautiful. They lifted me all the way from the square where we had to record in Cowshed all the way to my class. Then the Form 4s were now interested, like, what has gone on? So now they're now coming to us, and they're like, I felt, wow. I felt my confidence went up, my self-esteem all the way up there. And after I left everyone, I just went, it used to be this place nilikuwa naenda kukaa. Nikaambia God. I just, after I've disappeared from the eyes of everyone, I just took my time, nikaenda nikakaa tu hapa and I was like, you have given me this, thank you, but I don't know if I've built capacity enough to handle this. I don't know what it's going to come with, but I just know it's a very heavy battle. From this point onwards, all these students will be looking at me like, watching my every move, watching my performance, watching my conduct, watching my dressing code, watching my language command, watching every single thing. They monitored me like, you know, someone who is on probation. Now amekewa yoki ankle TV. Monitored. There was always an eye on me from that particular point. Everybody was happy in the first week. And what they used to say, we've finally gotten a good leader. And I would ask myself, what do you mean? What do you say that I'm honestly not saying? Because that position did me a lot of good things. It did me a lot of good. I faced a lot of tough times. And now, Mom used to tell me, in leadership, the higher you go, the lonelier it becomes. I took those words lightly until when I got to that particular point. And all of a sudden, it's like everybody I knew just went away. Like, they pulled back. Big step back. I felt alone most of the time. I walked alone. I did my things alone. I was happy about it because I could keep my focus, because there's something I'm working for, guys. I felt like yenyewe kama kuwa na kiatu ya kuwa firstborn inanipea pressure hivi. I have to make a way for my siblings. 1,500 students. and something minus the one who is their chief leader. Wah. Hmm. Getting that position put me in a lot of highs, a lot of pressure, and extremely deep lows because now I'm in a point where I thought I didn't have anyone to speak to when I'm sad. When I'm feeling the pressure from the administration is too much. Now there was literally nobody, but there was one friend who always stood by me. There were two actually, three. One is Shirley, one is Gurem, another one is Rhoda. Those three stayed my friends, while everybody else is afraid that unaongea na Ethel. Ethel. They were like, yeah, I talk to Ethel. She's my friend. So I think one of the most beautiful things about that position of leadership is I got several chances to interact with big people. I interacted with the county director of education in Nandi. I got to interact with the piece of education with Honorable Belio Kipsang at a particular point. I narrowly missed a chance to ah, narrowly missed a chance to interact with the deputy. Not with, yeah, I interacted with the deputy president at that time, uh, Honorable Gashagu, at that point when he was coming to our school. It was very beautiful. And the first lady, I narrowly missed that chance because my time in that position had elapsed. Somebody else will benefit from it. Mine, I already took a very full cup. So I got to interact with the government. There are times when I would interact with the governor of Nandi, and I was like, who thought Ethel, a small being, in someone's head, a particular nobody, would ever amount to something like this? It was very beautiful. Working with the subordinate staff of the school, addressing the students' issues, it gave me life. Mentoring, especially we were called a cabinet. My goal was to make a very impactful one because I told myself, mi sitoki shule na title ati nilikuwa to school captain too. What did I do? What do I have to account for? And one thing I'm pretty sure is I left an impact. That was my main goal. I think I attained that by God's grace. I hit my target. I think I hit it quite well. Because the pressure of knowing all these eyes are on me, it really kept me on my toes. It really kept me on my toes. The time that, in this one also, there are times when I was feeling, no, I can't handle this anymore. I am narudi kwa raia. From school captain to raia. And those few friends sometimes would come and shake my head. Do you want to be traumatized? Unataka kuwa raia? Unataka kuwa raia? Uko sure? Keep your focus. You're our school captain. You're doing a great job. Just continue. Those have really helped me through. So as time went by in Form 4, I think that's the point where I felt the most pressure. In Form 4, I bloomed after a very deep dive because at some point the responsibility was getting a lot. I can't say I was the one who balanced. Oh, yo. I didn't hit a perfect balance. No. I nosedived. Nosedived. Kujokota from there to there. It's not an easy thing, but I had to because I had a fear of being like the rest who have been before you. And then I also hated the fact of how people used to see our school captains. Oh, they will just be here, give us instructions, guide us in the mini, then leave the school with a funny grade. Hated that mentality to my core. And I observe, analyze, make a decision on what to do. I came KCSE after all the struggle of academics and everything. I did my exam. I was the most frightened person during that exam because I know hii results si ya familia yangu peke yangu. Hii ni one of those situations unasema results yako si yako peke yako, and my teachers would always tell me results ikifika yako ni ya kwanza tunaangalia. Oh yeah. Yangu ndo ya kwanza. What do you mean? So I did my exam. Exam was good. Nilifanya exam juzi, 2024. Mm. Mimi ni form 4 leaver. An alumni. Now I can say I'm an alumni.
Napenda, napenda kupendwa na wewe, sioni cha kufananisha kama kupendwa na wewe. Napenda.
My mom still laughs at me to date about how the day they were releasing the results. I was so anxious. I was so afraid. On that day, as I already mentioned, my mom is the most prompt person on academic matters. As soon as they just said KCSE results have fully been released, my mom send. She was, I think, the first one. She was not the first. She was among the first to get the results. And I can remember how my mom just turned at me. The next thing I had was screams. Oh! My mom was all over the house. She was all over. Alikimbia sijui kwa corridor. Akimbia sijui. Mimi namwambia mom, si useme umeona nini? Tell me what you have seen. Only for me to tip my head over and look at that laptop screen. I was so happy I became confused. Because with me, what I want, when I fix my mind, I want something, I tend to stick through it. I was obsessed with getting an A minus, not because it was even for myself, but just for the sake of the students who are behind me as a leader. Of course, also for my own personal goals and everything, but it mattered more to me because of it's those ones who are behind me, my siblings, my family, and the rest of the population of Kapsabet Girls, because I knew the kind of grade I would get would impact the next leader, the next leader, and the next leader, and the rest of the congregation. It was going to give them a room to say something about me, and I was like, they are not going to say anything negative about me because of my leadership and because of my result. So, why am I saying that? I couldn't kuangalia hivi laptop. Hey! The one grade I was obsessed with getting, God is good. An additional bonus. I managed to score an A minus of 77 points. That was the most joyous day of my life. It was the most joyous day because even my school principal, she knows how at some point the leadership had taken a heavy touch on me. And she's one of the person I really celebrate because on that day she called me. Mom was like, the school principal of Kapsabet Girls has called you. I was like, yes. She was so happy for me. She held me like a mother. And there's this photo. That photo is so special to me. When I was going through all of that and I had no one to talk to, she found me crying, not once, not twice, in my cube because as one of the privileges, I had my own cube. Just somehow, God just brings her to her when I need someone to listen to and someone to just hold my hand. She would find me crying. Nimehepa class because I feel, hapana, I can't even listen. I'm not even thinking straight. Sisikia kitu ni mwalimu anasema. And all I could think about is frustration and how everybody is just saying, Ethan, with every decision you make in this school, umeless grade yako by 1 point. Telling me how you can never match up. I was so discouraged. Before I went to that exam, that's actually one of the reasons why I was crying. I've never been so shaken in my life as when I did that mock exam. I have never failed like that. It was one of the time when I was in a very heavy nosedive. Hiyo kitu ilinigonga proper. Mock. Tunakaa home. Once again, my mom is very prompt on academic matters. Results imetumwa. Ife. Fika hapo, ananiangalia tu and she's looking worried. I'm like, okay, ni mbaya. It's bad. Kaka naekwa daini. Hadi alishindwa kuongea. Nilionyesha mwenyewe. My mock I got a nilibu kusema lakini the testimony. Where? My mock exams. Hizo ndio nilipata. Got a C minus. Never have I ever. I understand that I have failed and I'm not the brightest of students. I'm not I'm not the brightest of students, but I put in a lot of effort. Mimi ni form 4 leaver. An alumni. Now I can say I'm an alumni of Kapsabet Girls, but that is one of the places in life I always want to go back to because everything I think I can say I stand on right now, I got from that place. How I handle people, how I interact with people, because of the grace that I had to learn those things when I was there. I didn't deserve to go through most of the pains I went through there, but I appreciate the fact that they came because probably if I was never broken by some of those responsibilities, I would have never bloomed into something beautiful. I would have never sprouted. I would have been comfortable. It's just another. Hmm. Don't limit yourself to just a particular parameter. That this is as far I can go. You have the capacity, you have the strength, and if you have God, that's even better because that's double grace, that's double blessings because that's something in my life that has never really failed. Don't limit yourself. Don't feel like you're any less. Don't take up a small space. Walk into a room, feel the space, let the people around you feel your energy. Don't bound yourself because you're a female. You cannot be as good as what others have been. You can be even better than them. You can go beyond what they have done because you have the capacity, you have the strength, you have everything you need. You have everything you need as long as you can tap into it yourself. You can get it. Don't limit yourself. Go for those opportunities. Go. Run with them. Take and run. On Wednesday, I was thinking about the kind of person I am, and I was like, my mom is the one person I can say she's my everything. My mom is my everything. Napenda kusema she's my ride or die. She is. Because anytime I lose my focus, my mom will literally slap me. She will slap focus back into me. Because mom prays a prayer over us every single morning, and she says, you will be 10 times better. And she always speaks a blessing over me, my siblings. And I've literally seen that prayer work. Work. Hey, don't doubt prayer. Do not doubt the power of prayer, guys. Yes, and my dad, of course. My Superman. My Superman is my dad. He's showing up for me whenever I needed that help. Even though I never really mentioned it, he's being there. Motivation to keep going. And I think one of the greatest people in my life are my siblings. They make me who I am. They, considering the fact that I'm a firstborn, I can't sleep up. I can't mess up. I can't go below the bar. Because if I set the bar low, unfortunately, that is all they could see. Malin and Ash are literally my driving force. They are my driving force. Even the day I was in school, I don't feel like going to the library at all. I'm tired. I want to sleep like everyone else. I remember bwana, niko na dada fulani ananiangalianga hivi. Everything I do, she magnifies. Mali magnifies. And there's Asha there just to tell you, to give you a hug. Be like, you got this. I got you. And Asha impresses me a lot because I've seen him want to protect me more than I've seen anybody else want to protect me. And I'm like, you're small. And he's like, do I look bothered by that fact? I will protect you. The day he told me something, it really touched my heart. I was playing with my cousins and I was leaning, it was a story building. So nilikuwa kwa that kwa balcony, and I was leaning over a little bit too far. Asha came from the stairs crying. I'm like, why are you crying? And he's like, you're too close to the edge. I'm like, but I'm okay. And he's like, no. And he's pointing at me and he's telling me, get down. And I'm like, Asha, surely. Aliniambia shuka. Namuuliza sasa mbona? Kwanza nikamuuliza, why are you crying? Akaniambia because you're not being safe, you're not taking care of yourself. And I was like, why? So because he has the command of being the firstborn son in that house, nikashuka tu, with all due respect, nikashuka. Then I hugged him and nikamuuliza, Asha, why are you crying? And he told me, I have a role. I was like, being so wise. So I was like, tell me more. And like, I have a role. I have to protect. And he was crying. I have to protect you and my lead. Mama atajiuliza nini kitu kikufanyikia, nitamwambia nini mama? Those words touched me. I was like so young but taking responsibility over me who is like 8 to 9 years older than him, and I was like, bro, I'm safe in your arms. Generally, I am a happy person. With my little accomplishments, I am a happy person. I'm at peace with life. I'm waiting to see what it has, because don't limit yourself. Don't. You're greater than your barriers. And the only barrier you can ever set to yourself is yourself. You're literally your only barrier. You're your only barrier. Like, seriously, guys. Your barrier anyway. You say I can't, won't. Adopt a mindset that will allow you to grow. The statement of, I can't understand this. Textbook minded. Adapt the kind of mindset that you can tell yourself, it's difficult, but I can learn. That way, your limitations will be so much less. You'll be free, you'll be a free bird. But yes, and once again, giving up is not an option. That is my life mantra. If I chose to give, if I chose to let everything just go, I would not be where I am right now. I would be sad somewhere in some corner thinking, oh, life, oh, everybody hates me, oh, but giving up is not an option. I don't know, it's a policy I live by. You don't give up because life is hard. No. What right do you have to give up on your life? What right? What right? Even if it looks valid. No. It's literally your life. And especially for a girl child, for a woman, for a lady, for a young lady, you don't give up just because you feel like the space is too small for you. You have a lot of responsibilities, you have a lot of roles. You understand sometimes they can get heavy, but that is not a reason valid enough for you to give up. You keep fighting it through, because eventually the law of return is very real. You give, it'll come back. So giving up, keep fighting, stay strong.